What's for dinner? That's probably one of the most annoying questions I have to answer every day, especially when I'm trying to eat healthier. And that's not because I don't know how to cook, I'm a chef. And that's not because I don't know what a healthy meal looks like, I'm a nutritionist. It's because there are just so many ways to answer it. Chicken stir fry, pasta, Thai food, Indian, or realistically, standing at the fridge, door open, scrolling through recipes on your phone until it starts beeping at you to just pick something. And for years, I kept making the same mistake. I'd start with a recipe until I moved back to Japan and I realized I could start with something much simpler. It's called Ichiju Issai. And honestly, it took a problem I thought I'd always have and made it almost disappear. So today, I want to show you how I actually started eating this way, and it wasn't some big light bulb moment. And then I'll break down what Ichiju Issai actually is and how it's completely changed the way I make decisions around dinner and eating healthy. And finally, I'll show you exactly how you can start doing this too, starting today, whether you're into Japanese food or not. Now, before I get into what Ichiju Issai actually is, I want to explain how I got here, because honestly, this way of eating ended up solving a lot of my struggles with deciding what to eat, and for a long time, I didn't give it the respect it deserved. In fact, there were parts of it I properly didn't like at first. Let me take you back. So quick bit of context on me. I'm half Japanese, half British, but when I was living in the UK, Japanese food wasn't really part of my daily life. It was more of an occasional thing, mainly whenever I was at my mum's, which was mainly when I was broke. Then I moved back to Japan about 5 years ago. And even then, cooking for myself, I was still picking a dish, a recipe. However, I did start eating more Japanese food, which was nice, but even then, it just became another version of the same habit, one plate recipe. Curry udon, donburi, something like that. And I still spent a lot of time deciding what I felt like, and I felt the constraints of that too. And then I met my wife. I know what you're thinking. And she cooked completely differently, a main plus a couple of extra little sides. And honestly, I loved it at first, but there was an unspoken deal in our apartment. Well, technically it was her apartment, but I made myself at home. Anyway, when she cooks, I do the dishes. So the more those little dishes started appearing on the table, the more I started quietly doing the maths on my washing up afterwards. So when it became every single night, I remember actually saying to her, Japanese meals again? Can't do this every night. What a fool I was. But over time, I stopped seeing it as extra work and started seeing it as honestly a bit of a privilege. Good trade for eating a genuinely healthy meal. Even that little bit of extra movement after dinner, back and forth, clearing things away, that's exercise too. But slowly, and I genuinely couldn't tell you the exact moment it happened, I just started noticing a difference every time I ate that way. I felt fuller for longer, but light, and just more energized. Good job, because there's so many things to wash. Now, I knew Japanese people had always eaten like this, I just never really stopped to ask why or what was actually going on underneath it. Also, I didn't realize at the time that it wasn't just making me feel better, it was actually helping me connect to my food more and slow down whilst I ate. And that's actually by design. So let's get into what Ichiju Issai actually is and how it solved all of my biggest food problems and how it could possibly solve yours too. So here's the actual setup. One soup, one side dish. Now I know what you're thinking. What about the rice? Well, rice is so synonymous with dinner in Japan, it doesn't even get counted. Now this is a meal structure that first started in Zen Buddhist cuisine, and back then it was way more frugal than it is today, but the shape's still fairly simple. One main dish, usually a protein, often with a small amount of something to complement it. Grated daikon, ginger, or sriracha, that kind of thing. And a miso soup with a few vegetables in it, maybe some tofu or sea vegetables like wakame, and rice. Or it can be even simpler than that, rice topped with a protein, with the soup on the side, and a few pickles. So how does this meal structure actually reduce my decisions around what's for dinner and how to make it healthy? Well, it's because I'm no longer making recipes, I'm just filling those 3 slots, protein, soup, and a carb. And none of them require strict recipes or overthinking. For example, before, I would tend to overcomplicate how to use the protein I had. I've got chicken, so is it chicken pad thai tonight or a chicken pasta bake? So suddenly I've gone from I've got chicken to choosing a recipe, rummaging for ingredients, popping out quickly to get something I might need for that recipe, and following steps. It was a bit exhausting. However, in this setup, I'm really only asking one major thing. How am I cooking the protein? That's it. Pan roast it, grill it, steam it, bake it, or poach it. Then just small decisions like how to season it, which is just salt on one of the many Japanese savory condiments, which you can actually do ahead of time too, in no time at all. And the cool thing is, things like shiokoji, which is fermented rice and salt, actually tenderizes meats and transforms tofu, so a lot of the work is already done. Then I may add an aromatic or a spice or two after that, but that part's really an afterthought. I don't let it get in the way of actually cooking. And that's honestly such a relief. There's no moment of standing there wondering what I'm even making. I just get it going and sort out the other things I need, like garnish, maybe some ferments I've got in the fridge while it's cooking. Then the miso soup. There's no recipe here either. The base is dashi and miso and whatever vegetables I have, but aiming for what's in season, which is a Japanese principle known as shun, and a good range of colors, which is a Japanese principle known as goshiki, 5 colors. These colors are said to please the eye and senses, but there's a nutrition angle behind it too, because different colored vegetables generally mean different plant compounds and micronutrients. So it's an easier way of covering more ground while lowering the amount of thinking needed to create a healthy meal. Or if I'm low on fresh produce or time, I just add frozen vegetables, because miso soup is not snobby. It does not have a prejudice. Then the rice. I nearly always have frozen or refrigerated mixed grain rice, a mix of grains and legumes ready to go. And that's a different kind of diversity, plant and fiber diversity. And that's been linked with a more diverse gut microbiome, which is associated with better gut health. So between the colors in the soup and the grains in the rice, we've already got a generally diverse meal. If you're looking to diversify your diet, this is a really simple way to do that. And it's funny, this style of eating actually used to have a bit of a negative reputation, a way of saying this is just plain or boring or just an ordinary meal. It's nothing special. But as overeating and ultra-processed food have become a real problem, even here in Japan, people have started turning back to this as a way of eating well again. That's why it's important we don't let old traditions die. And there's something else this structure does that's easy to miss. Makes the balance visible. Take a big stir fry. Chicken, vegetables, oil, sauce, noodles, all mixed together. Now there's nothing wrong with that, but visually it's a lot harder to judge what's actually in there or how much you're actually eating. You can just look at it and see it. How much protein you've got, how much carbs you've got, how much vegetables you've got. There's nothing hidden inside a sauce or buried under noodles. And because it's separated, you naturally move between the dishes as you eat, rather than just inhaling one plate in front of you. That alone slows things down. And we know satiety cues are a little delayed. So that gap can be the difference between actually feeling full and you reaching for seconds. By the way, before we move on, if you want to actually learn Japanese food and the principles behind it, build out systems like this one for yourself and get proper nutritional support along the way, that's exactly what I help people do inside my school community. Links below if you want to come check it out. Right, back to the video. And just to be clear, none of this means you have to eat Japanese food to eat this way. It's the structure that matters most. And like with a lot of things, you can just take the best part of it and make it your own. So for example, this meal, I've got chicken thighs. I started those off in the pan and I'm doing extra so I can turn leftovers into soup or mix them through rice tomorrow. For the carb today, that's Japanese sweet potato. I usually roast a batch of these whole in the oven and eat them across the week. So today's is already done. Minimum effort for one of the healthiest carb sources we can eat. And while the chicken was cooking, I made a miso soup with broccoli, peas, basil, parmesan and a good amount of black pepper. And once the chicken was done, I let it rest. Deglazed the pan with some of the miso soup, then added garlic and some tomatoes since it's summer, and mashed that down into a sauce to serve alongside. Again, I'll use some of that sauce in tomorrow's rice or tomorrow's soup. That's one less decision to make. Now the last thing to say is, I know this isn't perfect, and some nights you just want chicken pad thai, right? But personally, it serves me so well as the base structure of most of my weeknight meals, leaving more time for the bigger decisions in life like, where shall we visit in Japan? So why not give this a go? Whether you're into Japanese food or not, it really doesn't matter. It might be just what you need for healthier dinners that don't take as much thought. But if you are into Japanese food and want to see a step-by-step how to make a meal just like this, that's this video here. Or if you want to dive way deeper and make this second nature, let me guide you in my school community, links below. Either way, I'll see you there.